Hi submarine friends. So what are we working on? The gas tank. Actually, technically the diesel fuel tank. So this is what I'm going to use, and I'm going to put it in the forward ballast tank. So I'm using a 20-pound propane tank, which is about 5 gallons, just under 5 imperial gallons. So that gives me what is that, about 13 liters? So that gives me about 7 hours of cruising time on this much fuel. It might even be more. This engine is ridiculously good on fuel. It's just unbelievable. When it was in the little excavator, we would always run out of fuel because nobody puts fuel in it, because we go to a job that usually lasts us a month. We fill it up at the start of the job, and quite often we don't have to fill it up till the job's done. So, nobody really pays attention to it. Anyways, it's super good on fuel. So, what I'm going to do, this right here is a welded nipple, and that is going to get welded in the top, and that's the filler point. And then this right here, I'm going to get closer. This right here is a hydraulic fitting. And then this is the plug for that hydraulic fitting. So this is my fuel cap. And it's got an O-ring seal. So I just screw that in, and then I give it a tighten, and now it can go to the bottom of the lake, no problem. So that will get this part gets welded into the ballast tank. So just the threads are going through the ballast tank. And then this is where I'll weld to the top of the ballast tank. And then the tank can literally screw into this. So I just rotate the tank, and I want to do that so that I can remove this tank if I don't like it there, or if I want a bigger tank or whatever. This way I don't have to worry about using a grinder or a torch or anything to remove the tank. And this has to be sealed airtight to the ballast tank, because the ballast tank holds air. So that's going to go there. So I'm just going to mark this with a pencil. So what I want to do is I want to grind all these welding points before I drill the holes. It's because I don't want the grinding stuff to go inside the tank. The less the better, right? So then I'm just going to cut this cover off. Now it's really safe to work on this tank because I picked these up from the metal pile in the local dump. And people come there and they steal the valves out of them right away because they recycle the brass. And so this has been open for months. I've been collecting tanks because I'm going to build myself a wood gasifier, so I need some tanks. But that's another project down the road. So then I've got these little pieces here. Oh, that's tight. So this is a little piece that I made on my lathe. It's just a piece of shaft that I drilled, and then I threaded it to put fittings in, and I'm going to use hydraulic hoses for the fuel lines. So these just get welded in. So I need 3 of them. I need one in the top for a vent, but it's not going to go through the hull, through the ballast tank. It goes forward, the line goes straight forward and into the submarine hull. So it's not going to go outside the ballast tank and into the hull. And then I need another one close to it for the return line for so when the fuel goes to the engine, some of the fuel returns back to the tank. So then on the bottom here is where I want my fuel to exit. And whenever I build a fuel tank, I build it so that fuel, there's always a little bit of fuel that can't escape. And so what happens is sediment gets trapped in the bottom of the tank and it can never leave. So I'm actually going to put that in the bottom, but I'm going to poke the fitting through the tank so it's elevated a bit. So that needs to be opposite of the filler, which is here, So I can drill that. Well, let's just drill it here. Okay, so I'm gonna go grind this stuff. I don't do that in the shop because it stinks up the shop. I broke the handle off my grinder the other day, so I'm gonna have to fix that, I guess. Okay, so now we drill some pilot holes. So this is the so that's one. This battery doesn't sound happy. Okay, so now we need two here. Okay. So now we need to drill a 1/4 inch hole for the filler piece. I don't think I ground that big enough. Oh well. Okay, now we need to drill the hole for the filler spout. We need some electricity for that. So after I weld all these fittings in, then I'll take it over to my other shop and I will air test it. Just to make sure there's no pinholes in my welds, or make sure the fittings are sealed. Okay. Now I actually put my bore scope camera in here because I've got a couple of tanks, and I picked this one because it has no rust in it. Okay, so this just drops in like that. I got a nice big gap all the way around. I find it's easier to weld if there's a gap. So now, gotta get that. Oh, I'm done with this anyways. What do I do with my key? Oh, come on. So I'm just going to drill a I'm just going to drill a 5/16 hole where these guys go through, except for the bottom one. And that's because that's all I need. I don't need this thing to be sunk right in. I could just weld it right on top. That one's one's going to have to be bigger. So that's the bottom hole. So here's the return line. I was going to say, I hope I have a plug for this, but I can take one out of the original tank. So, what do we got going on here? This is the bottom one. Let's see. Oh, that's perfect. So now I got to drill here because this fitting is going to go right through. It doesn't take long to make these tanks. You know, it's amazing what you can do with propane tanks. I've used them for everything. Whenever I find a 100-pounder at the dump, I just take it home so I have it in inventory. Because there's always a project coming up. And my wood gasifier is going to need more than one of those. Okay. Doing this on a table that rolls is not handy. Another thing that I've done is I'll put a magnet on here. So any metal that ends up in there just gets trapped by the magnet. Okay, now I gotta grind that a little more. I screwed up. Also, the way that I'm building this, because I can just screw the tank onto the submarine, I can rinse this out with some diesel, so anything that goes in there, I can just flush it out. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Okay, where's my spot that I grinded? There it is. Okay, so let's put that there. I'm going to leave this on because I don't want spatter to get on the threads. That always sucks. Okay. Now I need some cutters for to cut my wire off. I have to do that to get the gas up here. Okay. Okay, that's got a big lean to it. put a square beside it. Okay, let's weld her on. I think I'm going to give her a little more heat. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Turned it up a little too much. It's a pretty good sized gap, so it's a little harder to fill. Boy, I like this welder. Okay, now that looks good. Take that out. Now we can weld on. Oh, it's hot. All right, now I'll weld on these two guys. And again, I'm going to leave the fittings in because I don't want the threads to get some stuff on it. Okay. Ooh, that looks good. All right. Now we can do this one. The other thing is I got to make sure I got the, if you're not careful, only one side is threaded, and I have actually accidentally welded them on upside down and then had to thread them, so I want to get it right the first time. Okay. Duh. Right. Nice. Oh, that looks good. Okay, now we just got to weld the bottom one in. And where is it? Here we are. And I don't have a fitting for it. Oh, here we go. There it is. Okay. Oh, bugger. That doesn't fit. See, that one fits. This is one that I bought, and it's a tiny bit smaller. And this one is bigger. Well, let me just give that a grind. It just has to protrude inside, just a wee bit. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So what I have to do now is I have to let it cool down, and then I can air test it, and then I'm going to cut the hole to put this thing in. I'll screw it in, and then I will make some brackets that go from the tank to the vessel, or to the ballast tank, so that it's not relying on just this. I don't want the fuel tank hanging on this fitting. So, and I got to get it in there before I can figure out what kind of brackets to use. I'll probably just cut the brackets off the tank that I removed and repurpose or recycle them. So that's how easy it is to make a fuel tank. That worked out pretty good. It's a really small tank, I know, and I may find that frustrating, but at least it's out on the big front deck, and so I can very easily put fuel in it. And what I'll do is I will make an extension pipe. So if it's a little bit wavy, and so I'm going to be 8 inches above the water, and the ballast tank is fairly wide. So, you know, if there's going to be water sloshing over, I could just take this out quickly and put a pipe in that's longer, and then a funnel, and then I can put fuel in it, and I don't have to worry about water coming in. I don't want this sticking up a mile. So that's going to be that, guys. I'll finish this project today, no problem, and then we'll, oh yeah, then I have to drill 2 holes in the front of the hull to weld these 2 guys in, which are how the fuel goes through the hull. And then I'll just put the shut-off valve on the inside, just like it is now. Okay. That's it for today. Ciao!